Nobody beats Talking Joe, an international podcast.
Brand new.
Hey, we're talking brand new Joe. Hey, we're on a brand new show. Deep dives, blow by blow. Spotting Uzis and crossbow. Like a buzzbow or pogo. Got ninjas like Don Shadow. Comics are how I spend my dough. We're coming to you in stereo. It's time for Talking Joe. With Mark and Tim, here we go.
Brand new.
Talking Joe is on the air.
Hey, it's me, Mark, and welcome to Talking Joe, the G.I. Joe comics podcast. Now, today we're talking about G.I. Joe, issue number 18, released Wednesday, 28th of January, 2026. The official synopsis for this issue read: a standalone Night Force covert op, the iconic Roadblock makes his Energon Universe first appearance, but will he be the newest recruit of Lady Jaye and Flint's Night Force, or will he join a different group? Now, finding out the answer to that will be two people who actually already know the answer, but let's go with it. First up, it's a real American Tim. It's Tim Finn.
Hello, Mark and listeners and viewers. Hello.
Hello. And joining us as well, it's a very special guest. It's none other than the artist of the issue that we're talking about today. It's Artist Marco Fodera.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Ciao, Marco.
Hello, Marco. Thank you for joining us again. Folks, if you are brand new to the show,
brand new.
This is the second issue of G.I. Joe that Marco has drawn. And on the occasion of that first issue, we had him on the show and asked him a bunch of questions about his career and his working process and that one issue of G.I. Joe. And now we can ask him about his second issue of G.I. Joe.
And teeny tiny weapons that he's got behind him as well.
Right.
Speaking of things in the background, I don't know if your eagle eyes have drawn you to notice anything in my background that is slightly different today. Maybe over
The real Roadblock.
It's Roadblock, and he's wearing an apron and a chef's hat.
Okay,
and he's lost his hat.
Mark is holding the classified Roadblock. Mark, what is that shirt you're wearing?
Today I am mostly wearing Talking Joe official merch. So it is a Talking Joe t-shirt as designed by friend of the show, Billy Penn. It's available on our TeePublic store, links at talkingjoe.co.uk. I thought if I'm selling if I'm making this merch available, I need to, try it out and test it. And it's come out very nice. I'm impressed with the results.
A friend of the show, artist Billy Penn, who has only drawn one issue of G.I. Joe. I'd love it if he drew two. Not that it's a competition.
Right. So where should we start? Let's get into some of the news about what is happening this month. So let's take a trip around the Energon Universe and find out what is happening.
All around the skybound world, are you looking for some G.I. Joe? There's Autobots and Decepticons and creatures from the sacred brain. All we need is Energon, sweet Energon. There'll be Energon everywhere. There'll be robots swinging, aliens killing, and Decepticons in the streets. Yeah!
There we go. So first up, bit of news. We've had the solicit for April, which includes G.I. Joe issue 21, coming out 15th of April 2026. Now, the issue number 21 carries all sorts of special meaning for G.I. Joe because of the famous silent interlude. So we are seeing on this issue the return of Scarlet and Storm Shadow, last seen in the Scarlet miniseries. So looking forward to that. And advertised as the creator is Tom Riley, solo, no colorist listed. So that will be interesting to see. Either Tom is coloring himself, or it's black and white, or it's not been coloured yet, and they I don't know who it's going to be yet.
We'll talk a lot about this issue in April when it comes out, I'm sure.
Absolutely. Yep. And then other big news or crazy news is the Invincible crossover. Now in March, they are going to be Skybound are going to be releasing a bunch of variant covers for all of their titles to celebrate the release of Invincible Season 4, which is releasing on Prime during March. So in the world of G.I. Joe and Energon Universe, we have got G.I. Joe issue number 20, featuring a team-up variant from Andrea Milana. There is a Chris Mooneyham cover for 326, featuring a big Invincible there on the front cover, and some smaller characters from the world of G.I. Joe and Invincible. Plus, on Void Rivals, number 28, Lorenzo De Felici has got an Invincible team-up there. And on Transformers, they've got a punch-out between the Transformers and the characters of Invincible coming to us from Josh Cassara. So slightly confusing possibly to readers coming to this, expecting a crossover, but quite a cool gimmick, I think.
So Image has done this previously. Last year, there was a month where a whole bunch of Image comics had Spawn on their covers. And then I think
Youngblood as well. They've done.
Yes, just a couple months ago with the return of Rob Liefeld on Youngblood, there were some variant covers, and this is sort of a version of something that Marvel will do, where like every month Deadpool will be on someone's cover, and it's like you're reading an issue of She-Hulk, and Deadpool's not in the issue, but there's this one cover where the two of them are at the beach or something. So yes, possibly confusing. But it's fun to see, G.I. Joe and Transformers get to be treated like these, world-class brands that do get this kind of attention. And I don't know that this will bring more people to the Energon universe, but, even if it's a few, that could be great.
Mm-hmm.
And these are not the A covers, right? If you don't want to own a Transformers comic with Invincible on it, but not in it, you don't have to buy this cover.
Yeah, the Mooneyham is a cover D, and the G.I. Joe by Andrea Milana is a cover F. So mostly cover Fs, it looks like, across these four. Then also, I don't remember if we talked about this or not, but G.I. Joe Deluxe has been solicited. So arriving 3rd of June 2026, G.I. Joe Deluxe Edition Book 1, coming in 2 flavours, a Duke cover by Tom Riley and a Baroness cover by Andrea Milana. And it collects G.I. Joe issues 1 through to 12. That's this issue here. So it's a good issue.
The Baroness cover is a direct market exclusive. So your comic book store can only get this if they order it from Lunar. If they are ordering their graphic novels from Penguin, or if you are getting your graphic novels from Amazon or someone else, this cover is not the one that you'd get. And Mark, what else does this book collect?
And it also collects the Energon Universe Special 2025, which is that little story by Andrea Milana featuring Hound, which is kind of a preamble to this particular arc, so it makes sense to see it there.
And then one last little reminder, if you're wondering, wait, haven't there been 2 G.I. Joe hardcovers already, but this is book 1? Isn't this the 3rd G.I. Joe hardcover? Those first 2, which collected the miniseries, were called Codename G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm. and this is just standard G.I. Joe. So in the Energon Universe this month, we talked about the last issue of Transformers, issue 29. Issue 28 was the one that last out. 29 will be out next. Void Rivals issue 26 was out on the 28th, which was this past week gone too. Sharkticon hordes sweep the sacred ring as the Zertonians and Agorians finally reach unity, fighting a common enemy. Lots of fighting between Void Rivals factions and the Quintessons. But
no G.I. Joe appearance.
No G.I. Joe, but
no Pythona or... yes.
No Pythona yet in this crossover, but next issue round, issue 27, does feature a cover C by Ben Oliver, which seems tease that potentially, maybe, in this next issue, we might finally see Pythona appear in the crossover. So that was it for the news. Let's have a look at the covers for these issues.
Let's have a look at the covers in the gallery.
Cover A of G.I. Joe 18 is drawn and colored by Tom Riley, and you can't quite tell, but it's why I'm wearing my orange shirt. It's reading as sort of a brick red, but this is an unusual cover because very few G.I. Joe covers have an orange background. This cover is divided in half. The bottom half is a food truck, and on it is a giant man. And then the other half of the cover is just a sky with a little bit of a gradient from light orange, from medium orange down to a light yellow orange. There's no background objects. There's no trees or mountains or airplanes or wreckage. There's just a food truck, and we're looking up at it. It says Marvin's Melt, and it's got this wonderful cartooning on the side of it. This Tom Riley chibi drawing of Roadblock, and he's saluting and also presenting you with a plate with a grilled cheese on it, and he's got a cartoonish anime smile and very happy, appealing eyes, and there are three little sort of stars above the grilled cheese, as if to say that it's sparkly new or delicious.
Magic grilled cheese.
Or magic. This food truck is riddled with bullet holes, and the giant man on top of it is wearing a paper chef's hat and an apron and civilian clothes, white shirt and sort of turquoise pants, and holding a giant heavy machine gun, which is smoking. This Roadblock is not in any costume that we know from toys or comics. And then the sign on the front of the truck says Marvin's Melts. This is a fun and unusual cover. And
the black and white inks of the cover from Tom Riley, available on his art dealer's website, looks like this on the screen. Interesting to note that cartoony chibi sort of logo is not on the artboard, so I am assuming that was drawn separately and sort of photoshopped in.
I just want to point out what a great job Tom Riley has done here with the shadows of the side view mirror on the front side of the truck. That in the inks, it's all just white, and then he adds this light gray for the front and that sort of corner. And that's just a small detail that I don't think you really pick up on, but it adds to the realism and the dimensionality. What a good artist.
And speaking as someone who may or may not have photoshopped or Microsoft painted a version of the logo using that art and removing the bullet holes and extra color to create a nice clean version of the logo. Why did I do that? You sort of appreciate quite how much noodling and additional details have gone into that color, the additional textures and shades and so on. And I guess, Marco, you used the cover as a key visual reference for creating the interiors.
Yes, sure. This cover was very important to me for create the right atmosphere, the right sentiment. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I replicate, I redraw the logo on the track 3 or 4 times, I think. And in the reverse, I flipped the image to draw on the both sides of the. It's a little bit difficult because it's hard to adapt the draw on the track, but it's too funny.
I'll say one last thing about this cover. This pose does resemble the well-loved Michael Golden Roadblock drawing from the inside back cover of G.I. Joe Yearbook 2, where it's Roadblock with his machine gun, and on either side are Lady Jaye and Flint. And that is a drawing of Roadblock that was famously redrawn by Rob Liefeld for a New Mutants cover with Cable in the exact same pose. And I don't know if Tom Riley is referencing that. You know, if you ask 10 people to draw Roadblock, you might get 5 or 6 of them in a pose kind of like this, because there are only so many ways you can hold that weapon. But okay, yes, and Mark has pulled it up on his phone and has held the phone up to his camera. So either it's a indirect homage or it is a very fun coincidence. Cover B is drawn by Kendrick Kunka Lim. It is Chameleon, who is in this issue for one panel, for half a panel, one panel.
Okay.
She is not saluting. She is lifting up her night vision goggles onto her forehead. Her hair is blowing a little bit in the wind. There's a Cobra logo, a giant Cobra logo behind her. She's definitely inside. She's lit from above, a little bit like a spotlight. This is digitally drawn, and the edges are a bit soft, so it does have a look more like paint and less like comic art with bold outlines. There are no black outlines here, and I guess Mark, this is where you'd play your the new short version of your Chameleon of your jingle.
Covers of Chameleon. They're out each month. They're out each month. Collecting would be easy if your books were less frequent. She's red, black, and blonde. Red, black, and blonde.
And again, it's totally okay to have this character on a cover of this book. It's just conspicuous because she's in like 1/80th of this comic. Okay. Cover C is by Ben Oliver. It's Roadblock, head and shoulders, straight on portrait. It's another one of these, what I was sort of calling informally like police lineup, but no one's under arrest. Photos, maybe yearbook photos, but they're all straight on. No backgrounds, just an out of focus sort of blue and dark aqua. Roadblock here is laughing. And there's so much personality in this cover, right? This isn't a calm face at rest. He's not listening necessarily. He's not just staring straight ahead. He is looking directly at us, and he's smiling, but there's a little bit of a frown. So there's a complex sort of, there's more than one emotion here. And this is not an easy emotion or sort of set of emotions to draw. And he's in some kind of costume because he's got a very distinct sort of armored collar and shoulder piece. It sort of looks like football gear. Again, this the cover C's used to be 1:10 ratio variants, but for several months now they have not been. This is a regular cover that your store can just order for you.
I've been tending to sort of put my speculation or think about who the real life inspiration might be for some of these. Nothing came immediately to mind, but sort of pressing myself, maybe the closest I can think of is something like Terry Crews, but it's definitely not a sort of direct swipe of that. Maybe there's a little bit of just flavor, but yeah, if there's any other people, real life people that you think that could be an inspiration here, feel free to chip in the comments.
Cover D is a 1 in 25 reissue variant. It's drawn by Lucas Meyer and colored by Adriano Lucas. It is Roadblock, and he's running at us, and he's in that gear, which is now fully revealed. He's in his, let's say, Energon Universe Night Force costume. He is sleeveless. He's got sort of armor, sort of a bulked up tank top with some shoulder stuff and that collar thing, and knee pads and some strap things on his thighs and a giant belt. Behind him is an explosion, which once again refers back to the 1982 to 1985 toy packaging, painted artwork. So no background of a physical space, just this explosion. And he's lit from behind, so there's some highlights on his edges. And he is yelling as he runs toward us.
And this is the final explosion cover of this run. So we've had 5 issues of 4 miniseries. So that's 20 plus 18 here. So that makes, quick maths, 38 explosion G.I. Joe covers at least. And this is the final. We've done this theme, and we're moving on to other cover ideas. So rest in peace, explosion covers.
Until it comes back with the 1986 sort of digital ones, or if they start mixing and matching things, then it's like a G.I. Joe with a Transformers background or something. Cover E. Cover E is drawn by Michelle Rubini and colored by Romulo Fajardo Jr. It is Night Force, right? Roadblock in the front, Flint, a Beachhead, Lady Jaye. I don't see Shooter. They are standing amidst some debris and wreckage. There are bullets hitting some of the stuff around them. There's a giant sort of collapsed tower or pile of debris behind them. They are on the right side facing left, which is less common than characters looking straight or aiming to the right. We don't see who they're fighting. Roadblock has his heavy machine gun. Flint has a big pistol. Beachhead has a machine gun, and Lady Jaye has a javelin. The whole color scheme here is sort of a grayed out green and beige, but all these characters are highlighted with some warm colors on their left sides, and almost some cell shading on the characters themselves. There are hard edges and really nice description of Roadblock, sort of the front versus the side of his head, and all of the muscles in his arms, where the tops and lefts of them are his complexion, and then the sort of rights and undersides of them are his complexion in shadow. Really, really cool cover.
Marco, you put your thumbs up when you saw this cover. Do you want to chime in? Is Michelle Rubini an artist that you're familiar with?
Yes. Rubini is Italian like me. He showed me this cover last July. Before he showed me, we didn't know that it will be my cover of my number of the G.I. Joe. So it's this cover is a sort of gift from Skybound. So when I saw this cover, I talked to Michele. I said to him, "So you showed me this cover last July. It's strange that we met now. It's a very, very strange occasion. So it's funny to see Michele on my story."
Marco, I hit that. I pronounced that word incorrectly. It's not an SH sound. It's a hard K. Michele.
Michele is Italian. Michelle, do you say it, Michelle?
Yes.
It's more French. No, Michele.
Okay.
Michele.
Is Michele Rubini lives in Italy near you?
200 kilometers. 200
Okay.
kilometers.
Have you worked on the same projects
No,
before?
no. We worked with the same publisher, Sergio Bonelli Titore. He drew Tex Wheeler. He's a Italian Western, and we will work together, but not on the same character, but in two different characters. We work on he works on Tex Wheeler. I work on other characters like Mactimister, like Nick Ryder or Saguaro and other characters. So we know each other because we are friends since many years.
And another name to add to the Italian invasion of Skybound comics.
If Skybound is looking for an artist to do more covers, or I'm gonna just go off of this cover and say I think I'd be happy if Rubini drew a whole issue. So Skybound, please do keep if you need more talent. If all the people you have are plenty, that's great. But if you need more people, keep pulling from Sergio Bonelli. And lastly, cover F is Patricia Martin. This is a foil cover. The way that you see it right now, it's flat with a white background, but if you hold the comic in your hand, it's shiny. This is a very graphical approach. It's just geometric shapes, although quite complex ones. There are no outlines, but we have all of Night Force, all 5 members, and then the G.I. Joe star with 3 stripes is in the front, on the bottom, in the center. But the color scheme here, it's all a sort of purple-brown for some complexions and the G.I. Joe logo, a blue aqua for costumes, black, and then just sort of 1 or 2 other colors for little bits of details, like a yellow for Flint's ammo belt and a lighter blue for some details on Beachhead, and then the credits up above and a couple stars. There are 5 stars because I think there are 5 members in Night Force. But it's interesting here that this star and 3 stripes logo for G.I. Joe on the front, which normally would be either all one color or say red, white, and blue, here the one color of the stripes is white. So it becomes much more of a graphical element to say sort of like, action, excitement, graphic stuff, as opposed to like America and G.I. Joe. So this is a very cool, basically what I'm saying is this color scheme you might associate more with Cobra or more with sort of something that's not G.I. Joe, but because it's Night Force, you get to sort of take your color palette and like shift it over away from like, olive drab green and, like orange. This is a cool cover. This is the kind of image that I think, like when I was a kid, I might look at this and say, well, that's simple. Anyone could do that. I could do that. You have to be really good to be able to overlap these shapes so that they still completely read. Otherwise, it becomes a jumble. And let me tell you, not anyone can do this.
There is a little bit of an oddity on this cover, which is how Shooter is holding her sniper rifle like a pistol, which I don't know whether it originated as a pistol and was swapped out or something. But it's the one oddity that reads a bit strange on this cover, because you definitely wouldn't hold a sniper rifle like that double-handed around the grip. But
agreed. Oh, and then one last detail. This is the Rubini cover was the one in 50, and it was this. Yeah. Was this 1 in 100?
This is 1 in 100. Yeah.
Okay. I wonder how many stores, 2 years in, well, a year and a half in, are getting the 1 in 100 cover. Because although I was thinking about what Skybound seems to be doing with the beginning of each of its arcs in all 3 titles is treating each first issue of a new storyline as an opportunity to publish additional variant covers to sort of re-energize G.I. Joe or Transformers or Void Rivals. and we are wrapping up an arc, so we're about to have maybe that splash all over again for G.I. Joe.
Good. And there are no retailer variants for this issue as yet, at any rate, and none in the credits, which is unusual. I'm not sure if that might be the first time across all of these G.I. Joe Energon titles that we've not seen a retailer variant. So interesting observation. See if that continues or not. Not a cover, but sort of cover adjacent, is the G.I. Joe Roadblock design. So back at one of the conventions, it was either San Diego or NYCC, they revealed the design for the Skybound G.I. Joe Roadblock Night Force design from Tom Riley, the typical kind of turnaround type design where he's looking at his hand with the uniform and that sort of distinctive, heavy machine gun thing that he's got there. And so there was another one against a sort of white background. It just said, armor inspired by EOD equipment, primary weapon based on the XM312 heavy machine gun, modified to be fired handheld instead of mounted. 3 ammo boxes stored on the back of belt. I think back along, they tried to come up with this new design for a sort of heavy machine gun to kind of sort of essentially swap out the Browning, which has been the sort of go-to weapon for many years, and they had these experimental weapons, including this 312, which I think didn't quite take off. But looks striking as a visual, and so it's fun that I guess Tom has done the research to try and find something interesting looking and sort of leaning into kind of real world armory kind of developments to kind of take that inspiration. So kind of quite a cool upgrade to Roadblock's look and weaponry, and sort of it makes it also, I guess, I like it when the Energon universe is doing something different to the sort of Harmer established Real American Hero, that we've got two very distinct things happening and having a difference in like a kind of an iconic, accessory for Roadblock is an interesting way of doing that. So this issue is brought to us from the team of writer Joshua Williamson, artist Marco Fodera, colorist Lee Loughridge, or Lee Loughridge, or however you want to call it, letterer Russ Wooton, editor Ben Abernethy, publication design Andres Juarez, and production Abigail Lee. So next up, we'll take a look at the cover. We'll take a look at the plot with a plot breakdown.
Plot breakdown.
Marvin F. Hinton, aka Roadblock, the best heavy gunner in the world, has hung up his arms and put on an apron to give people a cheesy day as the purveyor of Biloxi, Mississippi's finest toasted cheese from Marvin Melt's food truck. Some unwelcome customers are Tomax and Zaymot, who want Roadblock to be the face of Extensive Enterprises' Red Rockets food trucks. Roadblock refuses their offer, resulting in a conflict with a Crimson Guard unit. Roadblock beats them up and chases down the twins in his van, writing off their sports car, and opens some whoop-ass using the Crimson Guard's discarded minigun before they make their escape. As Marvin returns to the food court, he finds the Night Force team helping to tidy up, and it appears that he and Shooter have a shared history. Meanwhile, Cobra has returned to their HQ in Springfield. As Cobra Commander makes repairs in his meditation chamber, he announces his mission to Destro to control all of the world's Energon. He announces his friendship to Destro before tapping into recordings from Blood's cybernetic eyes and seeking the evidence of Destro's treachery. A friend indeed. There we go. A month's worth of work in a nutshell, Marco. Before we get into our top-down reaction, maybe let's hear from you. What was it like coming back to working on G.I. Joe these few months on, and what was your experience of working for a second time in this franchise?
Oh, it was very funny because I said to Ben, when he proposed to me a new story, he said that this is a little bit different from the other one. I said to him, I promised I will do better and better than the last time. So he saw the first pages, and when he saw the final results with the ink, he said me, okay, now I am hungry. So he said me, I am hungry. So
You're making me hungry. You won't like me when I'm hungry.
Yes. So I added Joshua in the last panel. I said to him, okay, I am not a good. I can take the real face, so I try to make a
likeness.
Portrait. Yes.
Likeness.
I am not too good with the portraits, so I try to put in the story. So he was happy about it.
So this is Joshua Williamson on the bottom of the first page.
Oh,
on the left.
Family, I don't know. I put him into the Energon Universe.
Marco, are you in this scene at all? Do you get shot by a Crimson Guardsman, or do you run away in this scene from all the violence?
Yeah, just Joshua in the comic book.
Marco, do you have? Are there restaurants or cafes near you where you can get a grilled cheese sandwich?
Yes, pubs. There are many pubs around here, so I know this plate. I like it. I like it.
Okay.
And so it's the first 3 pages were very interesting because in this case, this is page 2. Joshua told me to flip the roadblock with his truck. He said me put the truck on the top of the page because we read from the top to the ground. So is a right opinion. So I flipped the truck and him on the. So it is more easy to understand the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So the second panel on this page is a little unusual because Roadblock is both in that scene, but he's also in front of it.
Yes.
Because you have the rectangle of the panel, but Roadblock's waist and legs go past it. So it starts to look like he's standing in front of a sign or he's standing in front of a window. Okay. And it activates the page a little differently. Maybe there's no dramatic answer, but can you talk about making that decision for this panel or this kind of panel?
I like to make a distance from the background. I choose this solution for this I love. I like to put him out of this scene. He's coming to us like a 3D, a sort of 3D. He's more nearby us, and he take place from the background.
You are accentuating, you are emphasizing how close he is. He's moving toward us, and the background is in the distance. Okay.
Maybe while we're introduced to Roadblock for the first time on this page, it's worth mentioning that Joshua Williamson talks about the file cards as being his kind of go-to starting position for story for the characters, and Roadblock does have a long sort of background of having this link with food and being a cook. On his original file card, his secondary military specialty is cook. It says Roadblock's dream was to be a gourmet chef. He was working as a bouncer to earn money to attend the Escoffier school in France when an army recruiter convinced him that the army could train him to be a chef. Roadblock joined but found army menus and preparation techniques too appalling, transferred to the infantry. So yeah, he's definitely got this long background with being a chef, and it's not the first time that we've seen him in the pages of a comic in an apron, including this. I think this might be the only other time that we've sort of seen a sort of similar food-based episode with Roadblock was in the pages of Frontline in the 2000s from Devil's Due, issue number 18 of Frontline, where it was kind of a one and done spotlight on Roadblock, the chef.
And Roadblock does say out loud, it's either the 6th or 7th episode of the G.I. Joe cartoon, he says, "I'm a gourmet chef," while he's jumping into the back of a Cobra truck and he finds a civilian there. But yeah, I feel like this is that Roadblock is a chef or a cook, that he has good taste in food. I feel like it's the thing that sort of everyone knows because of these one or two moments in the G.I. Joe cartoon, the one I just mentioned and an episode that we'll talk about in a minute. But Mark makes a good point that it's like the one thing about any other G.I. Joe character, that they were going to be an Olympic athlete, or that they were a police officer, or that they grew up near a rocket launch base, right? That stuff doesn't seem to come up, but I feel like sort of everyone I know who likes Roadblock says, "Oh yeah, Roadblock's a chef."
And there's a little Easter egg there on I guess this is the third page, where there's a postcard of Paris, which is, of course, what was referenced on the file card, wanting to go to Paris to train to be a chef. So that's kind of our introduction to Roadblock. I wonder how long it will be before I go through this episode and say Road Pig, given that I kept on saying Roadblock when I should have been saying Road Pig in the previous issues. So that's our introduction. Maybe my high-level takes of some of the story. It's a very different issue to kind of what we're expecting. It feels a lot more contained, one and done, almost like an episode of an 80s TV show where you've got your baddies coming into town causing trouble, and our action hero is going to sort them out and help out the locals, something like, I don't know, A-Team or what, that we're living in that kind of world, and it feels like a more straightforward story compared to sort of the bigger shenanigans of the wider Energon universe and so on. So I think it's a nice palate cleanse with this straightforward adventure, really focused in on sort of one particular character.
My top-down take is that this Night Force story sure takes place during the day. It's not really a Night Force story. It's a Marvin Hinton story, and Night Force shows up for a couple panels. In fact, the only scene that seems to take place at night is the Cobra scene, and that's okay. Night Force can operate during the day. They can go underwater. It's all fine with me. this is also unusual because none of the Joes appear in costume. And I think Devil's Due did this more than Marvel and more than Skybound has. But generally in G.I. Joe story, in like 2 episodes of the G.I. Joe cartoon did it. But generally we see the Joes in their costumes. And if we see them in civilian clothes, maybe it's one scene. But 18 out of 20 pages or 17 out of 20 pages of this G.I. Joe issue, it's just G.I. Joe characters in their civilian clothes. And I'm okay with that because the context calls for it. It would be really conspicuous if, Flint had his beret.
Well, we're talking about characters in costume. Should we maybe shoot to the page where we've got Roadblock in costume, which is a few pages in? We get a sort of a flashback to him when he was back in the military.
Page 6. So Mark has put on screen an image that you posted of 3 different takes in black and white of the original art before color, and the one that's published is the 3rd one. And can you walk us through these 3 images and what happened?
Okay, the first version is the modern suit, the modern uniform, but it's a flashback. So Ben told me we have an issue. We have to change his uniform from the modern one to the old one. So I digitally correct the costume. So I sent to Ben the 2 versions of the old Roadblock, with the helmet, without the helmet, and Ben chose the glove head, so without the helmet. I prefer the middle one.
Why do you prefer the helmet?
Yes, because it reminds me Man-at-Arms from Motu.
Man-at-Arms from Masters of the Universe. This is a tiny funny bit of synchronicity because I guess the first trailer for the Masters of the Universe movie, live action movie, was just released this week, and Idris Elba, a black man, is Man-at-Arms. And so in this one moment, we'll have a black man playing a character in a movie with sort of that helmet.
It's more similar now.
Yes. So presumably to redraw the costume to match Roadblock's original 1980s costume, Skybound provided some reference for you.
Yes, Ben sent me the toys. The toys of the character, like the Mark's toys. The same character, yes.
Photos of the toys.
The same. But
okay.
This is the flashback with the modern rifle. But in the pages with the Gatling, I used to draw a little bit smaller the Gatling. Okay. So Joshua told me I need a very big gun. So he is big. The weapon must be bigger. So I redraw the mastodontic gun for him.
So you're now talking not about the flashback, but the Gatling gun that comes from the back of the vehicle. Okay.
I had to redraw this big gun with the. I have to feel the heavy, the very heavy weapon, so physically heavy. So I redraw the Gatling. As Joshua told me, yes. Fantastic. This is what I want.
This is one of those moments where I'm aware that G.I. Joe is somewhere between realistic and grounded. And these are not superheroes. They don't have superpowers, but I want them to be larger than life. Mark, can you easily go back to the file card? Because the lower section refers to this, right? Here's the quote. from the 1980s file card. A 50 caliber Browning weighs 84 pounds. Add 50 pounds for the ammo. That's about 134 pounds of steel, generating 2,930 FPS in muzzle velocity at a cyclic rate of 550 RPM. Anybody who can handle that doesn't need a machine gun to keep me away. And this is a fun reminder that Roadblock is a gigantic man, and this is a gigantic weapon. And maybe in real life, no one could really carry this, or no one could really carry it without a mount, or no one could carry it and fire it without a mount. But I don't care.
No, but the funniest part is about this one. You said is the position of the panel. I have to find the right reference. So I rewatched Predator, the Duke with his Gatling on his hand. I take that scene when he shoot to the forest. I don't know if you remember that scene. He is screaming when he saw the contact. I reprised that scene for this scene, and but many raiders told that the Gatling doesn't have this kind of onomatopoeia. Is not boom 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 is not the right sound of this this gun.
Is it more like a
boom boom is different. But Joshua wants this.
It's harder to write, isn't it? How do you write that?
Yeah,
Who knows?
FT may not have the same effect. This is our new segment, listeners and viewers. Talking Joe onomatopoeia sound effects with Marco Fodera.
Another thing about the Roadblock. When they sent me the script, I told to Joshua and Ben, okay, I have the precise idea about Roadblock. Is the chef Andre Rush. With this guy, Andres Juarez is a famous American chef. He's a big black man. He is cooking stuff. When Ben, I sent to Ben the picture of this man. He said, "Wow, he's a real Roadblock in real life, a live action Roadblock." And I said them, okay, in all the story. I put the gloves on his hand, all the story. He never put off the gloves from the scene. So he ran, he fight with his the gloves. I don't know what's the name.
Are these the kind of black plastic gloves that you see?
Yes.
Okay.
I showed this picture to Ben, and he said, "Wow, the real Roadblock."
Absolutely. And you also talked about other influences for your look of Roadblock being Bud Spencer, who possibly is less well known because I think he's Italian actor, professional swimmer, water polo player, known for action comedy, spaghetti western roles with longtime partner and friend Terence Hill, and they he's got a very sort of expressive face, big guy, not like sort of super like muscular toned, but sort of the more 80s action of a little bit of beef to him and. Yeah, do you want to talk about that influence?
The first part of the story, he is a good man. He's laughing all the time. So I put the Bud Spencer reference. In the second part, when he became angry, I put Andre Rush. So the different ways to the same character, different ways. So it's very fun.
Got it. And Tim talked about sort of superheroic aspects to Roadblock, and that was actually something that you had a bit of back and forth with Ben. So can we talk about the superheroic aspects of having that muscle power to push over a crimson stinger?
Right now we're looking at page 10, and Mark has on screen Marco's pencil rough of the page, and I'm holding up for my camera a comic book, the printed version, and there are big differences in how Marco first envisioned the scene and how it got printed. So Marco, what was your thinking, and what did Ben say?
Okay, the first version, when I showed them the first version, Joshua and Ben said to me, "Is too similar to Superman. He's too superhero stuff. We want a little less, more realistic." So I drew the second version, and they said, "Yes, that's perfect."
It's not so easy. He's exerting more effort.
You can say that the difference of the wheels. I draw the wheels with like the toys, like the model, but in the scene I changed because this was too plastic. The impression I want to show the real tier of the truck, so I changed the form.
So in your inking, you drew the wheels less perfect. Is that what you're saying? Sort of, because they look
less plastic. Is too
okay.
It's too. This is like a toy.
Oh yeah, there you in the pencils you drew all the ridges. Yes. Which came from molding the plastic, and in your final, it looks more like a rubber tire that doesn't have those ridges on the sides. Okay. Mark, question for you: in the toys, have we seen this vehicle? Have we seen a Stinger painted red with a Gatling gun on the back?
No.
Oh.
No, so we've seen a classified Stinger being released, but the classified version of that toy is quite similar to the classic black design with the missile rack and the red missiles, and that's the version of the vehicle that we've seen in these stories so far. Like Tomax and Zaymot turned up in issue, I don't know, was it issue 2 or something, quite early on in the run in a Stinger in that classic design. So this is a new design with the red color and this giant gun on the back of it.
Yes.
And presumably in the script, Joshua having very specific ideas in mind for how the Jeep would look.
Is a question for me? Oh, okay. No, Ben sent me the model of the truck, and it was gray tones. He said me, we want not the missiles on the back, but the Gatling, a big Gatling they used for the story. Okay.
And I'll answer my own question here, not just in the classified line, but in the 1980s line into the 2000s. I do not believe we've ever seen the Stinger released. Oh, wait. We've never seen the Stinger released in red. We've seen it as Tiger Force. We've seen it for the Joes. We've seen it. Okay.
I think the closest it's been is maybe a non-G.I. Joe branded version of the toy was released in a foreign market in red as a racing car. But yeah, in the G.I. Joe world, I think we've never actually seen an official red version of the vehicle.
Okay, so speaking of specific vehicles, on page 12, Marco, what car do Tomax and Zaymot drive?
Okay, I can remember the truck. The specific is a real car.
Did the script call for it, or did you get to pick?
They said me is without like a spider. No, they didn't say me the specific car. They say me the model. Is a sporting car,
Okay.
Is a muscle car a little bit, and is a coupe. Okay, it's like a sporting coupe.
Okay. I'm looking at it, and I used to sort of know cars. It looks sort of like a Mustang,
A little bit,
but
I can't remember the specific car. I have to find on my files.
Well, goodbye to this very expensive, very nice car. It does not make it out of this issue. Mark, I don't know if this is an error detected, but I do feel like the airbags would deploy. So I'm going to say maybe error detected, and maybe the script should have called for the airbags, because I feel like when your car gets hit in the back, certainly when it runs into a traffic pole, I feel like the airbags deploy.
Or maybe it's vintage enough that it doesn't have airbags. It does feel a bit like a vintage car.
I don't think that front looks vintage. I accept your argument. How about this? Maybe Tomax and Zaymot are so vain and so wealthy that they bought a new car and customized it and deactivated the airbags, because if an airbag hits your face, it burns your face or bruises your face or something, right? Because it's so fast and there's friction. And maybe they don't want, even in a car accident, that to happen. There's my no prize explanation.
And also, this is modern day, but it's really, really 80s, and
airbags weren't
and they didn't really have. Yeah, and seat belts were quite gauche in the 80s even. So, but speaking of the vanity of Tomax and Zaymot, when they meet Roadblock in this sort of food market, and they're sort of sitting down with their toasted cheese, eating with knives and forks, truly not men of the people. It's kind of outside of their normal level of comfort zone to come to a food truck, eat this kind of food. And I think we do see them dropping their food into the rubbish, if I remember correctly, at some point here. So they're not really valuing their cheese toasties here, but they have got an offer for Roadblock that he cannot refuse. They want him to be the face of their Red Rockets, which is, a great G.I. Joe Easter egg. Tim, do you want to tell us about Red Rockets?
There's a 1985 episode of G.I. Joe called Red Rockets Glare, which introduces Roadblock as someone who, A, has a family and a civilian life, B, someone who appreciates food. And so this episode starts with Roadblock and Recondo on leave in their civilian clothes, visiting Roadblock's aunt and uncle at their burger joints, which is sort of in the middle of nowhere by the water, as a lot of episodes of G.I. Joe are. And they have all these bills, and Extensive Enterprises wants to buy them out and turn it into a franchise of Red Rocket, which is this chain which Extensive Enterprises owns, and they've been doing it all over the country. And it's a very cool design for a restaurant. But it turns out, in classic sinister Cobra fashion, the sort of prop missile rockets on the top of each of these restaurants all over America is in fact a real rocket. And Cobra Commander's plot is that when he pushes a button, each of these rockets is going to fire and launch. I think it's at a capital city in America, in all 50 states. And so there's sort of the double drama of how do the Joes stop this wonderful, crazy Cobra plot? And also, how does Roadblock defend his civilian and older aunt and uncle from sort of the very specific thugs who are threatening them? Tomax and Xamot do show up in this episode. This episode ends with a fun and crazy scene where Roadblock and Tomax and Xamot are on an actual red rocket, which launches, and I forget, Roadblock disables it or something, and it crashes into
It's even better than that.
Is it the reflecting pool in DC on the mall? I can't remember.
Flint shoots off the front, the explosives on the front of the red rocket with a missile, while Tomax and Xamot and Roadblock are on it. Right. Knocking away the explosive bits so that it detonates harmlessly, and then the rocket falls into a river, which is fortunately beneath.
This are we done referring to this episode? Because this comic book actually refers to another episode of G.I. Joe.
Oh wow! I was going to say there's a part in the episode where Roadblock is dealing with these unwelcome kind of extensive enterprise people, and in the episode he is chucking them out of the front of the building, which did put me in mind a little bit of the sequence in the issue itself, where they refer to we sent representatives to speak to you in the past, but they were rebuffed, and we've got this wonderful sequence of 3 panels where Roadblock is increasingly violent with these extensive enterprises people trying to convince him. Firstly, spraying him with a hose. Secondly, spraying the guy, kicking the guy out of the panel. And then on the third one, we're really escalating. He seems to be frying his face on the grill.
Almost. I think it's important to note that he's not making contact with this person's face against the grill. He's just holding it very close and scaring him. Mm-hmm. This comic book does indirectly make another reference to a different episode of G.I. Joe, because in this episode, Tomax and Xamot come to a place where people eat and sit down with Roadblock and try and make a deal with him. And they say, you really need to do this. This is good for you. And this puts me in mind of The Traitor Part 1, which is a fabulous 2-parter in season 1 of G.I. Joe from 1985, where Dusty is having problems taking care of his mother because of all of her medical bills. And Tomax and Xamot approach him and say, if you sell us just a few G.I. Joe secrets, we will pay for your mother's bills. And that's at a bar, and it's inside, and it's not in Florida, and it's not outside, and it's not during the day, and it's not at a picnic table. But they are similarly in their suits. They are not in their Cobra uniforms. And one of my favorite lines in all of G.I. Joe happens in this scene where Dusty's in the bar and he's in his civilian clothes, and Tomax and Xamot come in, and they introduce themselves. They say something like, "We're here to help you," and he says, "Hey, I know you. You're with Extensive Enterprises." And they say, "Wrong. We are Extensive Enterprises."
Hello, G.I. Joe. Hey, I know you. You're with Extensive Enterprises. No, we are Extensive Enterprises.
And it turns out that Dusty's not a traitor after all, and it's a wonderful 2-part episode. Mark, I do have a small thing that I didn't like about this scene. And it comes in the script. Marco, you're safe. And that is that Tomax and Xamot keep calling this guy Marvin. They keep calling him by his first name. And I feel like they would say Mr. Hinton, because they're business people and they're really formal, and they don't know him and they're not friends, and they're trying to win him over. And you could argue that they're trying to be friendly and a little informal. You know, they're eating his sandwiches and we're going to go in business, right? Right, Mark? Right, Mark? But I do feel like they're fancy and they would use his last name. And then you could counter and say, well, in that 2-part episode, the traitor that you just referred to, Tim, Talmex and Zaymot refer to Dusty as Dusty, his G.I. Joe code name. And I think that's also okay. Anyway, I just noticed it. And if I was to take my magic wand and slightly rescript this issue, I would have Talmex and Zaymot call Marvin by his last name.
Okay, I have to say I think about this page. Hasbro told me to change the 3 panels in the center, because in the original page they don't have the suit, elegant suit. This is with the short pants, casual suit, and I had to change with elegant suit with a tie, because the cartoon.
It's a business person who's trying to make this offer.
So he has to be very elegant.
Okay, so Marvin turns down the offer. He said, "Do we have a deal?" They do not. Nah, he says, and they go. You're going to regret this, Marvin, sooner than you think. And of course, with the Energon Universe, everything's happened sooner than I think, because it is like literally the next page, boom, in comes the Crimson Guards in their Crimson Stinger, and causing mayhem and menace, shooting their guns in the air, and terrorizing, all Marvin's friends and the patrons of this good establishment. And again, this was a panel that had a little bit of feedback from Hasbro. Do you want to tell us about how this scene evolved, Marco?
Yes, they told me to change these panels, and in this one, the last one, they can put the arm to the innocent people, so I had to change the direction of their rifle. So they asked me to erase the bang digitally. So they decide to re-put the onomatopoeias digitally after after me. So they in the last panel they changed again the idea about the bang.
All right, so we're looking at page 8 right now. It's 3 panels. The first panel, this Crimson Stinger is crashing in, and Mark has on screen Marco's pencil and ink original artwork before some of the additional inking was done digitally. And the Gatling gun on the back of the Stinger is aiming slightly more down. And in the printed comic book, it's aiming slightly more up. It's sort of like if you're looking at a clock, it was at 2 o'clock, and now it's aiming more at 12:30. And then in the second panel, the Crimson Guardsman who's hopping out of the passenger seat of the Stinger, in the original artwork, his arm is straight and the machine gun is aiming more down. And in the printed version, Marco has drawn it sort of upward, sort of pointing up to the sky, as if not the Crimson Guardsman is aiming, but actually sort of still lunging out of the vehicle. And then in the third panel at the bottom of the page, in the original artwork, very, very small in the background, Crimson Guardsman is aiming straight, and I guess sort of technically aiming straight at some people, but in the actual space of that scene, it doesn't look like there are any people back there. So this one I would have left alone. And then in the printed comic book, it looks like that arm might still be there, but there's sort of an additional machine gun that's pointing up. So there's everything about the story of that panel is that the bad guys are shooting at or near civilians, but it's not shown so literally. So some of the edge is taken off of it. But if you're listening to this episode, if you haven't read the comic or you don't have it in front of you, even though one of the Crimson Guardsmen says, bosses said minimum casualties, boys, but let's ruin some lives. We don't actually see any civilians get shot. We don't actually see any civilians sort of falling over with wounds. We don't see any blood. So there's a general sense of mayhem and upset. And certainly there are 3 bad guys with weapons firing near and around civilians. But I would still consider this scene PG, not even PG-13.
Yeah, I made the observation that the book is marked T for teen. And we've commented on some of the slightly more gory or sort of adult kind of or horror components of previous issues. So it is interesting to see that there is still this slight caution or sort of an element of what Hasbro is or editorial is comfortable with and less comfortable with, even in a kind of quite an adult branded kind of reinvention.
Yeah. It can also depend on the person. There are several people at Hasbro who might be approving the script or the artwork. And if it's a Monday, one person might see it, and if it's a Thursday, someone else might see it. It can also change over time. It might be that when the Cobra Commander miniseries was being published, and Andrea Milano was drawing that, and there are these torture scenes that was sort of okay because it's a bad guy torturing another bad guy, and it was so new, and the Energon universe was making a splash, and jump ahead a year and a half, and maybe the feeling is like, okay, well, more kids are reading this, or we don't want to get in trouble, or well, these are actually innocent people and kids, so we need to handle it differently.
I think this story should be lighter, is a more relaxing story.
To the theme of that I keep on coming back to, of it's an 80s action adventure. In the A-Team, they all had guns, they were always constantly shooting, but did anyone ever actually get shot or have a wound? No, not really. So I think there's this menace, but with reduced kind of impact from that. So in comes the Crimson Guards, causing some havoc, but Marvin comes to the rescue and makes relatively short shrift of those Crimson Guards, beating them up, turning over the car, and then chasing after the Crimson Twins and rear-ending them, bashing right into them with his food truck, which is his livelihood. So this is earlier on in the story. It talked to Roadblock having this temper. We start the issue with him being very avuncular, very very friendly, very smiley. There's a moment where he has too much. He is he tips over that boiling point, and this is the consequence. He's taking his precious van and smashing the twins' car with it, and then as they take out their machine guns, he sort of raises the tension again with this massive Gatling minigun with them that must weigh a ton, and I think there was that not in front of the families aspect in the picnic area before, but he is sort of slightly less precious about shooting in public here because this is a big old gun with big old bullets.
We should spell this out. We should state this clearly, Mark. In the Energon universe, if Roadblock is a civilian, he does not have his giant weapon, because he hasn't joined Night Force. He hasn't joined G.I. Joe. And he's not hanging out near a military base where he could go get his old gun. So in his current life, as a small business owner who has a food truck, he does not have that weapon, or maybe any weapons. And so what this story is, if you think about it, is kind of an elaborate scheme to get us fans to see Roadblock use his known signature weapon in a way that's really satisfying. But that works because when he joins the new G.I. Joe team, he's not going to use a weapon that's 40 years old. He's going to use the new one that Tom Riley designed. So what Joshua Williamson has done here is arrange these pieces so that, okay, a Cobra vehicle you didn't quite know existed shows up. And, that vehicle always has something on the back, 2 lasers, 4 missiles, whatever, a Gatling gun, right? And the minute you see that Gatling gun, you might think, hey, is Roadblock going to use that? I did not, so I really enjoyed the surprise. So I hesitate to use the term Easter egg because I don't think it's an Easter egg if it's 7 pages out of a 20-page comic. And the cover, I think this is just a device, and I don't say that cynically. I think this is a framework, and it's very fun. And it's very specific. So this is a character piece because it's about who Roadblock is. It moves the story forward because another team member joins, and later we see what's happening with Cobra. But also it's this fun little present for fans because we want to see Roadblock use that crazy weapon.
Yes.
Cool. So, he sort of makes fairly short work of the Crimson Twins, and they make a getaway in the Crimson Stinger, which must have been put right ways back up again and come to rescue the twins. Although I think, given that they fit in the Stinger, possibly maybe one or two of the Crimson Guards might have been abandoned back at the picnic area.
I have a question about this page, actually, Marco. So we're on page 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Page 16, it has a big room, and Roadblock is looking away from us. And he says, you come back here. You come back here. Marco, help me out here. In the first panel, cars driving away. And in the second panel, we see Roadblock full body, but he's also part of the first panel. And then in the third panel, he turns. And in the fourth panel, we see the truck, and it's all smashed up. How much time has passed? Is from the third to the fourth panel?
Okay, I think 20 minutes because he have to re-put the wheel on in the fruit truck and come back. So I think 20 minutes, 40 minutes. But you say when he returned to his place, he saw they are reconstruction. They are working to rebuild the park. So it's a sort of split about the action with the last part of the story. So for me, it's 20 minutes, more or less. But when he came back, it's strange to find all the people who are rebuilt the place. So and about this page, you can see. You said before they don't wear the uniforms, okay? But Joshua told to the colorists to put the same color of their suits, okay? They are in civilian suits, but all of them have its colors about the suit.
So Flint has blue, which is sort of like black. Lady Jaye has her green cap, and Beachhead has a green shirt. And Beachhead is covering his face because he has a welder's helmet on, so that he's not wearing his Beachhead mask, but it's kind of. We can
see his face, so he puts the mask with. And the first version of the colors. Beachhead had a red suit, but Joshua told him to change in green because the suit of his missions. So he had to change the color of the suit of Bichette.
And we skipped forward a page, but I did have a page from you for the working progress of that last issue, last sequence as Tomax and Zaymot are kind of speeding away, and we get a censored middle finger for the from Roadblock to the Crimson Twins. So that one reverted back to a slightly more family friendly sort of
pointing. Yes, it looked like
pinky points. You guys don't know this. You don't know this, but every time I'm in my car and someone cuts me off, I say, "You do that again, and you'll be eating out of a tube." As I shake my pinky finger at them.
Yeah, there was a middle finger in the Energon universe previously, which was Cliff Jumper flipping the bird at the Decepticons. I think Cliff Jumper, the sort of the little red guy. Is that right? Yeah. In Daniel Warren Johnson's run, but maybe the middle finger from Roadblock in this instance just a finger too far.
All right, so this page here with the tire rolling. So this panel where after Roadblock looks and there's a sound effect, thoom boosh, that's the food truck sort of limping back into the picnic area, right? Like squeak, squeak, squeak. Okay. And this has been Talking Joe Sound Effects Automobile with Mark, Tim, and Marco.
And then it felt like we were at the end of the story. Roadblock is kind of united with the Night Force team. We get the setup that they want to recruit him into the team. We get a funny little one-liner at the end, again very 80s, and we sort of a hint at a shared past between Roadblock and Shooter. And I felt like that was the end of the story, and then we turn the page and there's this end sequence back at Springfield Cobra HQ, and it felt like as I thought about this that it was kind of like a Dreadnought War postscript. And the third trade paperback out on 3rd of March 2026, it collects the Dreadnought War 13 through to 18, including this very issue. So there feels a little bit like a postscript or a coda to the kind of the Dreadnought War, kind of wrapping that up in this sequence. So it was kind of a night, I think, as a collected story with this sequence at the very end of it is feels very, I think, satisfying. So we're at the Cobra headquarters in Springfield. The Dreadnoks are fitting in nicely. Mercer notes that I like them. They add color to the place, and with Chameleon saying disgusting and making a lot of impact into this particular issue. We should put her on a cover. And then we're into Destro and the Commander. And we previously had this dynamic of Destro trying to set up Cobra Commander with the Dreadnoks to get him killed so that he could take over as Cobra leader. And it seemed like he had gotten away with it, that while Cobra Commander was back, he wasn't aware of his duplicitousness, but we find out that he was indeed aware. That in that final sequence, he says to his handroid, protocol blood 36 hours ago, and then he's getting this recording from his hand, which we can intuit is Blood's cybernetic eyes that have recorded this, and he's able to see Destro proclaiming, "Cobra is mine." Major Blood, what are you talking about, mate? What makes you in charge?
What will be revealed in time, Major Blood. While our dear commander is away, Cobra must continue to advance towards the future. Speaking of which, I have a meeting to attend.
Mercer, boss, don't you think this is a bit premature? We don't know if Ripper did the job. Let me go and find a body first. And Cobra Commander, friend indeed. So he's cozying up to Destro, thinking that he is a friend and all the while knowing of his duplicitousness. So a nice little dynamic established at the end of this particular sequence.
Mark, can you go back a page? Marco, are you a Star Wars fan?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so Marco, the thing that's holding Cobra Commander's helmet in the first panel, is that like the thing that holds Darth Vader's helmet in The Empire Strikes Back?
Chamber,
when he's in his pod?
Yes, this one. So,
okay.
It's a little bit a reference. So I love Star Wars.
I must admit, yeah, seeing the Cobra Commander with his mask off and having his helmet sort of held in front of him, then did put that in mind to me. And we're seeing Cobra Commander repairing his sort of cybernetic hand here that was thoroughly destroyed in the Dreadnought War, and a slightly different look to the hand as well now that it seems with this upgrade it's sort of a little bit smoother, a little bit less jagged, let's say. Was there particular guidance that you were kind of given on the look on Cobra Commander hand version 2.0?
No,
Marco.
I used the Milana pages from the story issue number 9, 10. I used that.
Okay.
With Artillo. Okay. As clue, a sort of clue. The end, the left hand is a sort of clue. Claw. Yes, the artillo, we say in Italian. Yes, clue. I used that reference from Milana.
Okay. So it's not necessarily intended to be a big change to the look of the hand from what we've seen before.
Yes.
I'm gonna slightly change the subject here. While we're looking at this page, I bet I'm the only person whose my favorite panel in this whole issue is not a Roadblock panel, despite all the fun panels of him and his crazy gun. I think my favorite panel in this issue is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Panel 5 here, because I'm a sucker for a good wordless panel, no dialogue. No sound effects, no narration. And this extra moment we get between Destro using this really, Destro and Cobra Commander using this word that's sort of too strong for them. And I feel like as you read it, it doesn't quite work. You are more than an ally, Laird Destro. You are someone I believe I can call friend. And I thought, I like it when they get along. Also, I don't believe that.
Friend, Cobra friend.
And then Destro says, I feel the same, right? And then this second half of this word balloon here, which in terms of the actual script is necessary, but in terms of the sort of the scene is totally unnecessary, right? But I will leave you to heal, Commander, right? Like something is going on if Destro is saying, I'm going to leave now. And then Destro now leaves. And Joshua Williamson is giving Marco space to draw this moment. We need it really clear that Cobra Commander is now alone. Destro's far away and can't hear this. And then we can have this unveiling of information that Cobra Commander has this recording and knows what's actually going on. But I really like this panel here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Panel 5 on page 19, because it's a good drawing of Destro. We get to see the lab with Cobra Commander's Darth Vader chair and those tanks, in the back. And we haven't gotten, Marco, you didn't draw Destro in your other issue, right?
No, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I don't have it in front of me. I like how you draw Destro. So this is not the first time. This is the second time you've drawn him. But it's a treat. And I just like this panel because it's sort of the least important panel in the entire issue, and yet it has it carries a greater weight to it. But that's just me, right? I also like the exciting panels where Roadblock is making his pew pew noise.
Yeah, Tim just likes to be different. I spies. There's one that I spied, which we've not yet talked about.
I spy with my little eye.
And it's this moment in the when Tomax and Zamar are in their car with their top down, the car's top, not theirs. That would be weird. And they say, after sort of failing to recruit Roadblock, they say, perhaps we should try to recruit someone else to be the face of our food trucks. Perhaps the one with the beach shirts, replies Tomax. And so that's a little Easter egg, a hint to Chuckles, I think. So he is the sort of the Joe famous for wearing these kind of Hawaiian shirts as part of his uniform. That's my interpretation, anyway.
Okay, here's why I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that they're trying to find a Joe. I think it's they're trying to find someone who is beloved and like a chef and a businessman or something. And so I think this might be a reference to some chain that is real or not, where it's like Polynesian themed or Hawaiian themed. So I don't think this is about the Joe who has beach shirts. I think this is about someone else out there. Like, who sings Margaritaville? Who's that? What's that song? Jimmy Buffett. Jimmy Buffett lent his name and the name of that song to a chain of, I don't know, restaurants or bars or something. And he's not a celebrity chef, he's a musician. But I sort of thought something like that, you know? But
could be.
But I'll happily be proven wrong if it turns out that this is Chuckles and Joshua Williamson makes it make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's specific enough to the Joe world, and with all of the Joe Easter eggs, that I think it must be that's what Joshua Williamson was trying to imply. But
maybe
could be not.
This? But maybe somewhere in on Guam or Saipan or Hawaii, maybe Chuckles is undercover because he's CIA, but he's got a beach shirt and he's working at a bar or a restaurant. Right. And he's becoming well known as the local guy. And so maybe you are right.
Speaking of undercover, we didn't really talk too much about the first page, which has got Hawk, a.k.a. Zartan, there directing the Joes and more specifically the Night Force squad on this particular mission. And we start the issue with him touching his eye, which when we first saw the preview page, you know, maybe unusual, but nothing specific there, nothing to trigger alarm. But having seen the previous issue, we know that Hawk is actually Zartan in disguise. So he's doing some last touch-ups to his makeup as he's getting on this call with Flint.
So Marco, you knew this, and the script refers to this?
In the script, there was some word about it, but I didn't see the previous pages of my story. So I didn't understand what I was drawing. I didn't have the whole story behind this gesture, but I understand it was important. So I put the hand under his eye. So I understand a little bit. So, but I didn't see the previous pages. So it's a surprise for me too.
Yeah, so you saw the issue and you're like, now I understand what this thing is. Yeah.
Marco, is there a chance you could return to the world of G.I. Joe and draw more stories?
For now, I don't have news from Ben. He loves my stuff, This particular issue is doing very well. The readers loves this story, so maybe Skybound bring me back for another story. I hope this, but I'm not sure. I wait. I wait for now. I am waiting an email from Ben. I don't know if he has to work for me. In this moment, no.
What are you working on right now?
I'm working with a French publisher, Glénat, and he's police procedural story in Los Angeles. It's a little bit the show The Shield. Did you know The Shield? The TV series? Okay. It's a sort of that kind of story with bad policemen and Latinos, gangs of Latinos in Los Angeles. It's a very rude and gravy story about very is the opposite of this.
No one lifts a heavy weapon and pushes.
No. It's very realistic. The writer is an expert of police procedural of Los Angeles. So he described me how they act, the engagement, all the. I'm going to be an expert of LPD police procedural.
How many pages is the entire story, and how long have you been working on it? How long will you work on it?
Okay, they are 86 pages, but I drew 21 pages until now. I have all the year to draw it. But if Ben call me, I stop my actual work and start a new adventure of G.I. Joe. For now, no.
Is the police procedural in color? And if so, does the color look anything like this? Is it a very different look?
It is a little bit more European taste.
Okay, so like watercolor?
I don't know. The color is, I think, is Segala. Okay, this is Italian too. I don't know. He drew the first tome, the first volume. I am drawing the second one. The first volume is published in 2022, and this is the second one. And I think it will be published in the next year, I think.
Okay, cool.
Is that Francesco Segala, the G.I. Joe colorist?
Oh.
There we go.
But Ben Abernethy follow me on Instagram. Sometimes he put his heart on my art. His heart of my art. Sometimes he saw an illustration of G.I. Joe I covered. He likes a lot, so I think he is following me from the distance. He's following me. He is waiting the right moment to bring me back.
Absolutely.
I will say that I do like this sort of publishing schedule where every 6 issues of a comic are telling one story, but it's really the first 5 issues that are doing one thing, and then the 6th issue that are doing something related but different. And that feels like a good place to have a different artist. And so I do appreciate that kind of editorial scheduling of the talent. And as I've said many times before, Skybound picks good artists, great artists. So even if it's not the usual guy who we're used to, when it's a new, I shouldn't point with my pinky. When it's the new guy, it's still a treat, and the issue feels like something special. Because I when I'm on the computer, I try not to point with my index finger because that can come across as overly.
It's the right finger, but the angle is strange. So we say this kind of gesture, but is this
PU, pinky U.
So finishing out the issue, there was a couple of interesting bits in the letter column. They concluded at the end, now the Night Force team is built, except for another member that was teased earlier and will be revealed a few months from now. I doubt anyone has guessed who the last member of Night Force is going to be. Remember, with the Energon Universe, you have to expect the unexpected.
So Mark's guess is Chuckles. And my guess is DJ, because he kind of looks like an astronaut.
He is unexpected.
He looks like he's unexpected. He looks like an astronaut. He's already in another subgroup, and I was just sort of picking someone funny out of my hat. And then something else that they say in the letters page is.
I was going to say on that point. They maybe they teased a member earlier in this very issue, which could be Chuckles. But my guess, if not Chuckles, which seems like the obvious answer, which other character has been mentioned or teased in the Energon universe thus far, but not seen? And doesn't seem to be that many, but one is Falcon, who was mentioned or teased in issue 1 of Duke, where Hawk says something along the lines of, I might have expected this from your brother, Duke, but not you. So maybe, I'll put that out there in my hat, maybe the last member of Night Force is Falcon, but it would be another guy in a beret, which might be, visually less interesting, given that we've already got Flint.
I've always assumed DJ just wears a beret under his crazy helmet. And then in another letter answer, Joshua Williamson says, we have some wild plans for Cobra Law. We won't be bringing in actual people to the story. When we revisit Cobra Law, it will be a massive story. So get ready for some crazy sci-fi stuff.
Yeah. And they talked about issue 1 being a build up to issue 25. So it sounds like they're planning something particularly big for 25 as well. They want that to be an event or a bit of a landmark issue. Also in the letters is a sort of error detected that Emil wrote in and said, I forgot his name. It was Psy something, but he was a Joe with gypsy origins that had satellites all over his body and a dossier card that said he was a 7th son of a 7th son. And they call out Crystal Ball, but he's also mixing up or conflating Crystal Ball and Psych Out, who are kind of like the Joe and the Cobra equivalents almost. The Psych Out is the guy with satellites all over his body. But otherwise,
I'm going to forgive Ben Abernethy on this because I say this as gently as I can. In a previous letters page, Ben Abernethy showed that he is a G.I. Joe fan, but perhaps not the world's most encyclopedic G.I. Joe fan. And besides, it gives us something to talk about. That editor got a thing wrong. Actually, maybe Ben Abernethy is sort of playing it close to the hilt because maybe Psych Out is going to be the new Night Force member who we're not going to see for a while.
Or maybe Crystal Ball will join the Night Force team. Who knows? Weirder things have happened in the Energon universe. Speaking of which, what's going on in the Energon universe? Transformers issue number 29 will be out on February the 11th. Will there be more Mask stuff or Flag or some other G.I. Joe appearances in there?
Probably.
G.I. Joe number 19, which typically is the issue that would come out after 18, is out on February the 18th. And we have to wait a whole month, Tim. Can you believe it? A whole month for the next issue of G.I. Joe. outrageous.
As a reader, I'm disappointed. As a podcaster, I'm relieved.
And Void Rivals continues. The issue 26 was just out, and Void Rivals issue 27 teasing an appearance from what she called Pythona is out on February the 25th. So all sorts going on in the world of the Energon universe. Tim, what is happening in your world when you're not talking to me and illustrious guests?
I think by the time this episode posts, issue 1 of the Center Holds will be just a couple days away. That is a comic book written by Larry Hama and drawn by Mark Bright and colored by Josh Burcham, which I edited. I am the editor. And on the inside front cover, that's the credit that I get. Published by Boom. I also own a comic book store, Hub Comics. That's right outside Boston. And why, yes, we will be selling issue 1 of the Center Holds. And I have a YouTube page with funny videos that are smart. That's Atomic Abe. And I write about G.I. Joe at my blog, arealamericanbook.com.
Do you want to say anything about what you'll be doing special for the launch of Center Holds in your comic book shop, Tim? Or do you want to save that?
No, I can say that. Larry Hama will be signing at Hub Comics on Saturday, February 21st. So not the Saturday after issue 1 comes out, because that's Valentine's Day, but the Saturday after that. So 1.5 weeks after the Center Holds issue number 1 comes out, Larry Hama will be coming to Somerville, Massachusetts, and signing at Hub Comics.
Amazing. And if you are new to Talking Joe, you can find us at talkingjoe.co.uk. That is the link to the places you can find us, like Facebook, Twitter, our podcast, YouTube. Like and subscribe over on YouTube. And leave us a 5-star review on your podcast platform. It's also got links to merch now as well. So I've now tried and tested, quite happy with them. It's also got a link to our Patreon page. So that is patreon.com/talkingjoe. So big thanks to Richard, Sam, Bill, Rob, Shane, Simon, Chris, Joe, Craig, Frank D, Shane V2. This one has got a little white hat on it and has got a van selling toasted cheese sandwiches. Infinite Entertainment, Patrick, Gary V, Coldroff, and B. They're getting early access to episodes and some exclusive content. So I think we're pretty much done. Thank you so much to Marco for joining us once again and talking us through the book. It was a privilege, and we really enjoyed the book. And anytime you come back to the world of G.I. Joe, we will be more than happy.
Thank you.
And so I think that is it. But before we go, Tim, I feel like we've talked about Roadblock, we talked about grilled cheese, we talked about original art, we've talked about Center Hold, we've talked about so much, but I feel like with all of this stuff, there's just something that I've forgotten to tell our audience.
Yes. Nobody Beats Talking Joe, an international podcast.
That was it. Laters.